The flat earth theory is more like a new wind of doctrine that is being used to distract the world from very real issues that are upon us. Although I will not go into all of the theoretical rhetoric to try to explain something so simple, I will, however, provide some very simple facts that are not being talked about or explained in any real sense of the word. You have lots of videos with fine graphics and charts and animations, and some with misinterpreted or misunderstood scriptures, to try to convince the sleepy minds of the masses to buy into this whole thought process. Those who have pushed this new mind-blocking hypothesis know that the vast majority of the Earth's population are easily distracted and pulled into whatever direction they want you to go in. While we're being sucked into this new unimportant hypothesis, they're on the sidelines setting the stage for something more sinister and diabolical that will catch most of you like a bear in a snare. The shape of the earth as it relates to human importance is like saying your fingernail is more important than your heart. In a nutshell, big distraction. Whether true or false, the whole idea is just more conjecture by the same people who have pushed false scientific theories for centuries. Now, all of a sudden, you have millions, if not billions of people cleaving to this doctrine and ignoring very real things that are happening in this ever-changing world. The prince and power of the air is disguising this as some sort of divine revealing of a hidden truth, when in all actuality, a large segment of the world did once believe that the earth was flat, until common sense and reality kicked in. Several pre-Socratic philosophers believed that the world was flat. Thales, circa 550 BC, according to several sources, and Leucippus, circa 440 BC, and Democritus, circa 460 through 370 BC, according to Aristotle. Anaximander, circa 550 BC, believed the earth was a short cylinder with a flat circular top that remained stable because it was the same distance from all things. Anaximenes, or Miletus, believed that the earth is flat and rides on air. In the same way, the sun and the moon and the other heavenly bodies, which are all fiery, ride in the air because of their flatness. Xenophanes of Colophon, circa 500 BC, thought the earth was flat, with its upper side touching the air and the lower side extending without limit. Belief in a flat earth continued into the 5th century BC. Anaxagoras, circa 450 BC, agreed that the earth was flat, and his pupil, Archelaus, believed that the flat earth was depressed in the middle like a saucer to allow the fact of the sun does not rise and set at the same time for everyone. Hecatoes of Miletus believed the earth was flat and surrounded by water. Herodotus, in his histories, ridiculed the belief that the water encircled the world, yet most classicists agree he still believed the earth was flat because of his descriptions of literal ends and edges of the earth. You see, this is not some new discovery, divine unveiling, uncovering of truth, modern-day epiphany, or major coming forth of new knowledge, but a rehashing of historical ignorance to get the minds of the masses trapped in the Truman Show or a strong delusion of spiritual fallacy. For those of you trying to use the Bible as your proof, you have many who have mistranslated Scripture with their own personal beliefs being interjected. Sometimes common sense and wisdom trumps the translator's commentary or interpretations. Was it 4 corners of the earth or 4 quarters of the earth, which simply implies 4 directions of north, south, east, or west? In Revelations chapter 20, verse 8, it refers to it as 4 quarters of the earth. In Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12, it refers to it as 4 corners of the earth. Again, different translations for the same idea. 4 directions, north, south, east, or west. Here are some simple facts that cannot be ignored as it relates to the flat earth theory. You have other very visible round-shaped planets, stars, and thingamabobs floating in orbit that are not flat, so why would the Earth be flat? The Earth is not some square flat object with an edge in which someone could fall from. This would mean that if we traveled far enough in one direction, we could or would at some point get to the edge and simply fall off or hit some type of solid structure that is being referred to as the firmament and bang our heads or crash our ships. If the Earth is flat, that big fiery ball in the sky we call the sun would light the skies of New York at the same time it lights Asia. You see, even though they are distance apart, it would only be seen from a different angular view but not completely out of sight if the Earth was flat. If you have a flat surface, such as a plate, and this round, fiery, well-lit object is hanging above the right side of the plate, you would still see the light on the left side because it still hangs above the whole surface. This proves that the Earth is round because you have darkness in the east while the west is experiencing daylight and vice versa. Also, if you sail from the west coast of Africa to the east coast of America and you keep on going on land until you get to California, and then from there you sail to China, continue on land from there, going through the Middle East, you will end up back in Africa again. Another point is, because of the Earth's rotation, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west every day like clockwork, which proves it to be round. If the Earth was flat, then it wouldn't matter what direction the sun rose from, and every continent would experience the light from the sun at the same time from different angles because it would still be suspended above the top of the Earth and giving light to every region on the Earth except for the bottom. In the last point, I will reference a passage of scripture in Genesis that should be very clear if common sense kicks in. When you consider the formation of a drop of water as it is suspended in mid-air, it is in no way flat. More than 3/4 of the Earth's surface is water, and since the Earth is basically also suspended in mid-air, it would also hold a round shape and not a flat shape. When you peer at the moon, is it flat? Is the sun flat? Why and how would the Earth be flat? It is a fact that if it is flat, there should be an edge to which you can fall off or a surface to crash into at some point. It is a fact that if the Earth were flat, the bottom of the Earth would still be without form and void. It is a fact that if the Earth were flat, the whole world would see the light of the sun at the same time and not different times. Let's take this picture for instance. Let's say that the table represents the flat Earth and the light hanging above the table represents the sun. Regardless to whether the light is to the far right or to the far left, the whole table is still bright from the light of the light fixture. So then, why is it nighttime or dark in Asia when it is daylight or morning on the east coast of America and other areas? The only logical reason is that the Earth is indeed round. The Bible never said that only the top of the earth would have dry land to come forth and that the bottom would remain without form and void. This is what it says. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 2 and verses 7 through 10, it reads as follows. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And Elohim called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And Elohim said, Let the waters under the heaven or the firmament be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, And the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. In closing, I will say these words. A double-minded man or woman is unstable in all of their ways, being tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. Humanity has proven once again that something so unimportant can be used to distract their minds and cause them to occupy brain space with something that doesn't deserve a second thought other than to know that the flat earth was once in the pages of history as something thought of and believed in times past, even before the time of Yahushua HaMashiach. The enemy is coming in like a flood with doctrines of devils that have nothing to do with our reconciliation to our Father, and yet we think the belief of a round earth was this evil, wicked, satanic deception and conspiracy that we need to be aware of, and we spend gobs of time defending the flat earth theory. Whether the earth is shaped like a watermelon or an alabaster box, it doesn't mean a hill of beans to the condition of our eternal soul. We spend more time on nonsense and can't even figure out how to get out of our present economic condition. I will leave you with these scriptures. Colossians 3:1. If ye then be risen with Yahushua, seek those things which are above, where Yahushua sitteth on the right hand of Elohim. 1 Corinthians 3, verse 18 through 19. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Elohim. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Shalom, family.